This is going to be a secret reading for Scorpio. We will be able to see what the energies on the surface are and what instead we have underneath the surface mirroring these messages in order to give us more details. With these cards, I see that the situation is about someone who you're thinking of who sometimes feels as though they could be a good match with you, but sometimes they don't. And from the spread, we will be able to see more in depth into the situation. With the first card at the top of the reading, we have the Five of Swords, which is showing us how sometimes it gets hard for you to interact with this person. There are a lot of things about them that you like, that you admire, but at the same time, there are moments where it's really hard to communicate with this person. It's really hard to make them understand certain things that for you are actually very important. And right here with this card, we can see that tension. We can see all of those misunderstandings that, although they can be frustrating, are also really minor compared to the way you do feel for each other. But you easily go from a time where you feel very close, you feel loved and seen by this person, to times instead where it feels as though they're not there at all and you end up feeling isolated. And also with the Five of Swords, we have arguments where no one wins, which means that the things that you're discussing about, the things that you're fighting over, have a deeper meaning. There is something else that it's bringing them up, because at the end of the day, if you see them by themselves, they're not really important. And underneath the surface, mirroring the Five of Swords, we do have the Lovers. And from this card, we can definitely see a lot of different things that are important for you to know at this time. First of all, we can see that the truth is that the two of you are a match. The two of you are meant to be together, and you really reflect each other's personalities. And this could be a very good thing, a very positive element into a relationship, but at the same time, it could bring some frustrations, it could bring some issues here and there. As you see, these two lovers, they are the exact reflection of each other. What one of them thinks, the other one thinks as well. The way one feels is the same way the other one feels. And so what this card is telling us is that the two of you are really alike. And so whenever you get stubborn over certain things, they do the same. There is no middle ground in between the two of you because you're so similar. And whenever you get frustrated about something, they do the same. And so the situation always ends up without having anyone trying to fix things or trying to meet the other person in the middle. And this doesn't have to be a negative thing. It's just something that you need to be aware of, so that whenever these misunderstandings happen, whenever you run into these frustrating situations, you know that it's all out of love. And we can see this duality, this being exactly the same, also with these two cards. We have the Knight of Cups and the Princess of Cups. And the both of you are definitely in tune with your emotions. At this point in time, you're very sensitive to your environment, and especially to this person. Depending on what they say, how they say it, that could definitely completely change your day, your mood. And the same thing is for this other person. If you hold their hand, or if you don't hold their hand, it's going to have a whole lot of messages within that gesture that might happen or might not happen. And so they focus on that specific thing and build a whole castle on top of that. And being in this emotional state can be very sweet and can bring you a lot of happiness, but at the same time, you both need to learn how to handle it, learn how to manage it, because it can be beautiful, but it can be destructive at the same time. And as we were saying, you really do feel love for each other. There is this connection that it's happening between the two of you that perhaps you never felt before. and you're not afraid to show it to the other person. The Knight of Cups is showing up because it's telling us that this relationship right now, it's very intense. It's very much on a level where you're able to express yourself, to show your love for the other person, and just start doing things together, building memories together. And so overall, this is definitely an exciting time for the both of you. And we see here again that your element, it's very much the same. This Cups energy that talks about emotion, that talks about how these two people want to be together. And when they are together, they don't care about anything else. And in fact, we have more cups showing up. And this card really talks to the both of you. Where we see this Nine of Cups, we see a time where things are starting to go your way. You have dreams coming true. You have plans that maybe you worked for or you wished for that now are finally showing up in front of you. And again, I keep seeing this duality in all these messages that I'm getting. This is definitely a good thing. Something that can make you happy, something that can make you dream about the future and push you to get out of your comfort zone, expand your boundaries, and achieve even more. But at the same time, it can put you in a position where you start being afraid to lose the things that you are achieving. And it's absolutely normal. And it explains how big the love that you have for each other is. So big that you go from enjoying it and protecting it, making it grow, to times instead where you're just afraid to lose it all. And so the both of you sometimes end up in situations that don't really reflect how you really feel for each other. And we know from these cards that it's just because you're really alike and because you're afraid to lose all of these things that you have around you right now, afraid to lose this other person in the same way that they're afraid to lose you. But with the Wheel of Fortune showing up, we know that you need to feel safe in this situation. The universe is giving this to you because you deserve it, because you went through a lot, perhaps in the past, you had a lot of bad luck, but this one right here, this person that is showing up right here, it's definitely someone who will not hurt you, who will not do anything in order to damage this connection. Every time that you feel insecure, every time that you think that they might not be sincere or that at some point they might get tired of this relationship, keep telling to yourself that all these negative thoughts that you're having, they're also having. When you feel insecure, remember that they're also feeling insecure. And when you feel this love growing inside of you for them, remember that they have the same love growing even stronger that you might ever know. And so in order to understand how this situation will evolve in the immediate future, how to solve this Five of Swords and make sure that this relationship will be successful, make sure to check out the extended reading link below. And if you want me to do a follow-up reading at the end of the month to see if we get any more messages around the situation, make sure to comment down below with #-follow-up, and I will be selecting the video that gets the highest number of hashtags. We've seen from the reading that you and your person feel very connected to each other, and often this connection brings to some frustration and some misunderstandings. But we've seen that the reason why it's because the two of you are so alike and are also afraid to lose each other. And so in order to start fixing some of these issues, we have showing up the Seven of Pentacles. And with this card, I can definitely sense that the main message behind this energy, it's that you need to make sure to do the right things in order to preserve this beautiful connection and in order to make sure that it grows to be whatever you want it to be. This beautiful lover's energy that is showing up down there, it's the potential that this relationship has. But in order to get there, you do need to put aside some of these frustrations and misunderstandings and start meeting each other in the middle. With the Seven of Pentacles right here, we are seeing someone who is putting time and effort, and it's also seeing the results pretty much right away. And so what I get from this card is that you might need to sit down and start talking about how you really feel. And when you do that, as we were saying earlier, you will immediately understand that the way you feel, it's also the same way the other person is feeling. And just by having that channel of communication open and learning these new things about this other person, it will immediately make things better. It's really just about making sure that whenever you get frustrated, whenever you feel that maybe they don't care about you enough, you just communicate that to them. The reaction will surprise you because they will really say, this is exactly how I feel. And overall, after this communication, one thing that will happen and one thing that you need to focus on is take down those walls that perhaps you've built around you from previous experiences, from previous relationships, and people that really didn't treat you right. And so with this card, we might see that in the past, you were giving your all. In the past, you were trying to do everything that it takes in order to make this other person happy, make them feel loved, but this other person from the past probably took advantage of the situation. It didn't give you the same love back. But right here instead, what we see from this card is that you need to abandon that thought, change your belief around what a relationship could be, because in this case, you have an equal give and take. With the Six of Pentacles, we have you receiving the same energy that you're putting out. And so in this case, if you take down this wall and you're just focusing on loving this person, showing them your love and how much you want to be with them, this is exactly what you will get. At the same time, if you put out frustration, doubts, and negativity, that's also what you will get back from this person. And not because this is someone who wants to just make sure that you get what you give, but just because this person is exactly like you. And so it's easy to understand that if you were in front of a mirror, you will get exactly the Six of Pentacles. And when you are in front of them, it is like you were in front of a mirror. We see this duality showing up again with the Two of Cups, which is telling us that this is a time and this will start a brand new phase after you talk and you really open up your heart, where you will start learning new things from each other. And this new thing that just came up here, it's definitely one of the major ones. And with this card, we can definitely see that you are on your way to get to this lover's energy that this relationship is definitely entitled to. But right here, take time to ask questions, to learn why they feel a certain way, why they react a certain way to specific things. Get to know them and allow them to get to know you, because this is going to be absolutely fundamental for the two of you to be happy together and for the two of you to be successful together. And with the next card, the Queen of Cups, we have a message that talks about seeing someone in a new light. And this is exactly how you will see them and how they will see you. Now, every time that there will be a frustration or some issue coming up, you will immediately be able to spot it and fix it right away without too much effort at all. We see someone that it's focusing more on their intuition than they are focusing on the actual events. And this is exactly what this relationship needs at this point. Whenever there is something like, for example, not receiving a message or maybe not holding hands for 5 minutes, something that maybe in the past was small, but that was powerful enough to make you start a discussion, right now instead will be immediately put to silence, because you will just focus on how you feel inside, how you know that this other person is also feeling inside, and you know that their love is true and sincere. So regardless of those minor things that are happening that might make you feel insecure and that might make them feel insecure, you know that the love is there. And so you're just able to talk to them about this little thing. They will be able to explain, and so the issue will just go away immediately. And here we are, you getting closer to this lover's energy and getting to a time where you're just able to enjoy each other, to celebrate this connection, and to make it grow every day stronger and stronger. We have people around you also admiring you, admiring this connection, this relationship. When they think of you as a couple, these people regain faith in what love can be, because you really work for each other in order to make this a happy connection and a love that really has the potential to be the love of your life.